the meantime, as we await any questions that we may receive, I have a few here for you. And what I'm going to do, panel, Rashid and Michael, as I'm going to ask these questions, I'll address one speaker first, and then I'm going to ask the other speaker to weigh in as he sees fit. So let's go to question number one. And we're going to go, since Rashid just spoke, we're going to start with Michael Scheidel. Michael, if I needed to start implementing zero trust, where do I start, and what are the priorities?
Again, I really like to look at the NIST cybersecurity framework in the United States. 5 functions, they flow into each other. And just like any other security issue, it's not a finished product. You're not fixing anything. It's a process. And the 5 functions are to identify what you have. And the next process is to implement those protections, just like physical. You buy a new house, you put a new business up, and you call somebody and say, I want to protect it. I want locks, doors, and alarms. And the first thing they're going to ask is, well, where are they? Where are the doors? Where are the alarm? Where are the windows? How many windows do you have? I can't tell you where you need any of those motion detectors unless you tell me where people are going to be walking through. So identification, protection, and then detect. Why try to detect something if you haven't tried to protect it first? Why put an alarm on the door that you've never locked? Now, the 2 most important pieces, because we think we've done everything. We've locked the castle walls down. We've got INM. We've got privileged access management. We never think about what's going to happen if something happens to us. And NIST Cybersecurity Framework has 2 more steps. They've got the response. When it happens, not if it happens. When it happens, do you have your response plan ready? Have your incident management people been trained to look at, read, and understand the new INM logs, the SIM logs, the access management logs to find out if something happened here? And then recovery. Once you've responded to it, how you're going to recover. So your priorities, again, are Queen's bedchambers, crown jewels, identify everything you have. Start there.
Thank you, Michael. Rashid, same question to you. If you needed to start implementing zero trust, where would you start, and what do you think the priorities would be? Or do they differ at all from what Michael has just told us?
Well, yeah, they're pretty similar to Michael. We do, and a lot of organisations follow the NIST framework here in the UK as well, and we go in, especially larger organisations, do follow that. So the one thing that we do find, especially on the larger organisations, is when you go in, and Michael touched on this a little bit as well, is the discovery piece. A lot of the organisations we go in have absolutely no idea. Well, they have some idea, but they don't have a full scope of what applications they have, who has access, when they had access. So you have to go through the whole discovery piece first to help the customer or the prospect understand what they have in their network, what's the estate, because what you find is the organizations, they may go and buy another organization or another company, or they merge with another organization, and it becomes a right mess. And nobody actually takes that bull by the horns. So they will just go, yep, we're all great, we're all working together, everybody knows what's going on. But really, very rarely do we find organizations have a full scope or understanding of their infrastructure. There could be servers that nobody's ever touched, or there could be applications that are legacy applications from a third company that they took over, and nobody ever took responsibility or ownership of that. So when we go in and we do the discovery piece, and we give the report, then that sort of startles a lot of the organization when they see it, especially the leading, let's say, people like CISOs and security architects. They have, well, we had no idea about a lot of these applications and servers and so on that were out there, and they were a risk to the company. So I would just add that element to what Michael just mentioned.
Excellent. And now I have a fresh question for you, Rashid. How can a zero trust policy not slow down employees if they have to jump through hoops to do their jobs?
So if you implement PAM properly and with the right tools, it shouldn't disrupt employees' workflows at all. So a good PAM solution should be streamlined and simple. It should be making everyone's job easier, actually not harder. So there's no hoops to jump through. And some of the best technologies out there are seamless. So for one example, our Best Safe EPM solution, it's a completely transparent solution to the user. So the user can go about, they can do their work, there's no interruptions, there's no additional processes, there's no bringing up the IT team, oh, I need permissions. All this is happening while we're still locking down the privileges and securing the endpoint. Because we're working on the applications, the user can go about and do what they need to do because we're working on the application and the kernel there. So if PAM and EPM are implemented correctly and you get the right solution, it really doesn't affect the organization in regards to the workload and productivity and what they need to do.